What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to See You All for a Huge Channel. You join me after Carlisle United have released their retained and release list. Well, it was actually a couple of days ago now. I'm a little bit late to this one. I did ask for your guys' responses to the list on Instagram, and I think about 42 of you replied, which is a lot more than I expected. So maybe I won't be able to get all of you in the video, but I will give a shout out to the guys on Instagram. But looking at the retained and release list, then it's that time of year, you know, it happens at every club. There's a few shocks, there's a few surprises. I think this year is quite straightforward. We'll start with the loan players that are going back to their parent club then. Finn Back is obviously going back to Nottingham Forest. Ben Barkley has been recalled by Stockport, and as well he has been retained by Stockport keeping him on contract. John Kamari Gordon back to Crystal Palace, Alfie McCalmont to Leeds, and Jack Robinson has went back to Middlesbrough. Now I just want to say a thank you to every single one of them loan players. They all loved the club, they all gave their effort to the full extent. They all wanted to play for the club. Some loan players come in and they're not bothered. These players weren't. Finn Back was sensational when he was fit, unfortunate with injuries. Ben Barkley, I mean, again unfortunate with injuries, but that goal against Bradford, there you go, that's his season, you know what I mean, that was fantastic. But other than that, even then he's been brilliant when he's came in all season, never put a foot wrong. J.K. Gordon, I think could definitely play at a high level. I think a Championship, Premier League, lower Premier League player for sure, bright future ahead of him. I'd love to see him come back for League One, give League One a bit of a go, but great player, clearly loves the club as well. Alvin McCalmont, a fantastic player, really changed our midfield, I thought, especially the last few game weeks. Top quality player, Northern Irish international, of course. I actually think he could be with a shout, getting into the Leeds team, newly relegated Leeds, probably new manager going to come in. I can see him maybe getting a shout in that Leeds team in the Championship. If not, love to see him in the blue shirt again next season. And then Jack Robinson from Middlesbrough, a player in which, you know, he looked good, didn't really get the game time. Didn't get enough game time to be really judged that much, but good player from what we've seen of him, and again, obviously really like the club. Moving on next, then, players that were offered a new deal. Taylor Charters was offered one. Tristan Dennis, Morgan Feeney, and Amari Patrick. Amari Patrick is currently in Marbella, I think, with Jack Robinson, so enjoy yourself. But these players have got until next week, according to Paul Simpson, to give a verdict. I think Taylor Charters is a nail-on to sign. I don't see why Taylor Charters wouldn't sign. Tristan Dennis, depends on the deal. Apparently, he lives up in Scotland and he's quite happy here, so you never know. Morgan Feeney, I think it would be great for him to re-sign for us, but whether or not he feels like he could maybe make a step up even more is up to him. I think moving into League One, he could be great. I mean, he is a good player, but I think he could really, you know, benefit from being in the League One team with players he knows, in the environment he knows. And Amari Patrick off the deal, which maybe surprised some people. His performances haven't been fantastic. I mean, he scored the equaliser against Stockport, but a player that we all know that can do a job. He's been in League One before, I believe, with Burton. And I think I think it's a good chance that he's going to stay with us. An environment he knows, get along with the fans really well and everything. Players that have had their clauses activated for the next season then: Gabe Breeze, Jordan Gibson, Max Kilby, John Mellish and Colby Whelan. Obviously, Gabe Breeze will probably be a backup, second or third choice, I would imagine. Jordan Gibson obviously has been offered us that option at right wing back and then more attacking as well. Max Kilby had a great loan deal at Annan Athletic. John Mellish is John Mellish. What more do you want me to say? John Mellish he's just class, isn't he? And Colby Whelan, I'm really happy to see Colby Whelan stay on. I'd like to see Colby Whelan be a bit more of a first team player. Obviously, you know, if Morgan Feeney, is he going to stay? That could affect Whelan's place in the team. But I think Colby Whelan, top quality player, didn't put a foot wrong since coming in the last few games of the season. Moving on then to the players who are already under contract. We've got Jack Armour, Ryan Edmondson, Jack Ellis, Joe Garner, Callum Guy, Jaden Harris, Thomas Hawley, Paul Huntington and Owen Moxon. I think the fact that Moxon's contracted is brilliant, even if he was to be sold in the summer, because he's contracted, we can obviously then charge a fee for him. I don't want to see him go, obviously I'd like to see him stay, but he'd bring in a lot of revenue if he was to go. Huntington, Maybe lacks pace would be my only critical point with him, but defensively sound. Thomas Hawley, I mean, I've never doubted him. He had a shaky couple of games, but I think overall he's had a really good season, especially in that playoff final. Jaden Harris, possibly a player I would imagine will go out on loan this season. I don't see him starting in a League One setup. Callum Guy, fantastic midfielder, definitely deserves to play week in, week out first team football for us. Joe Garner can be frustrating, but he was on an 18-month deal, so this obviously was never going to run out. His contract obviously runs out at the end of this season. I think a player that's got League One experience could be good for us. Jack Ellis, again, a player who's been a really good season. Jack Ellis, unfortunate with injuries. Like to see him come back into the team, maybe as that right wing back role. Jack Ellis hopefully be able to push on in a League One environment. Then we got Ryan Edmondson, of course. We know what Ryan Edmondson can do. He's had a stop-start season, but I think he's a top player and he gives us a different option to the other strikers we've got. And then Jack Armour, best left back in the league for me last season. I thought Jack Armour was quality. His experience is crazy considering his age. You forget how young he is. Great signing to be under contract for us. Second year scholars, Kai Nugent's got his second year scholarship. Had a really good loan deal that worked in Reds, a bit like Max Kilby. Both got promotion, of course. So it'd be good to see what Kai Nugent can do. And then on to the bit that you're probably all here for, the players that have been released. We've got Lewis Bell, Jamie Devitt, Brendan Dickinson, Josh Dixon, Sam Fishburn, Michael Kelly, Joel Senior, Toby Silva, and Scott Simons. Start with the younger players then. Scott Simons, I'm a bit surprised by. I think he had a bit of an injury, maybe one of the reasons why. Josh Dixon, I'm quite surprised by. I thought he would have been a player that maybe would have benefited from a loan deal like Kai Nugent's or even like Max Kilby's. Unfortunately, obviously, that's not turned out to be. Sam Fishburn, again, another player I thought could maybe benefit with a loan deal. Again, Lewis Bell, same sort of scenario, young lads. Then we got Michael Kelly. I'm a bit surprised. I actually made a video where it was my retained release list. I mean, that's completely irrelevant now because the actual retained release list is out, so I'm not going to upload that. But I actually kept Mick Kelly. I thought him and Thomas have a really good relationship, and I thought him, Kelly, Hawley, and Gabe Breeze was a good trio to have. Obviously, Paul Simpson thinks otherwise, and Paul Simpson knows a lot more about football than I do. Jamie Devitt, not really surprised with that one. I think, he's been a great figure off the pitch for the club. He clearly loves the club as well. Gets along with all the fans really well. You see him interacting with fans after the game, before the games, just wandering about and stuff. Great lad, Dev, as we all know. Best of luck to him. I think injuries really scampered it. I think signing him on a 1 year basis was the best idea. That we did last season. We signed him on that 1 year deal, and not massively surprised that Devitt's been released. Same with Brendan Dickinson as well. I think a player that was League Two for me. I didn't really rate Brendan Dickinson all that much. Unfortunate with injuries this season, really unfortunate. I don't think he's played a single minute this season, maybe played in a few pre-season games. But Dickinson, I wasn't surprised when he was released. As I say, obviously, injuries and that really haven't helped him. But I imagine he'll be able to go down to like a Gillingham or somewhere like that and get a deal in League Two. Who we got next? Toby Silva next. A little bit of a surprise maybe for Silva. I think, again, not to repeat myself, but injuries haven't helped him. I think it was rumoured that he wanted a move down south. He wanted to go live back down in the London area, so fair play to him for that. He's been a great player off the pitch for us in the community. And during the back end of last season, well, technically 2 seasons ago now, in that relegation one where he came on off the bench in the Rochdale game, Simo's first game, back at home and stuff, he was a great player, Tranmere away, really good player, Toby Silva, but not necessarily surprised by that one. And then the one that's maybe surprised people the most, Joel Senior, had a really, really good end of the season, a really good few games for Carlisle. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be for him, and he has been released. I think it's a tough one because he did have a really good few games, and we're maybe lacking that right back position. Obviously, we've got Jack Ellis in that right back position, but I thought Joe Senior maybe stayed for another year, try and develop him a bit more. Again, another player who's been a bit cursed with injuries as well. But I was quite surprised. I can see Joe Senior fitting into a Bradford. Like a top league, a League Two side, Bradford, Stockport, somewhere like that, maybe even a Salford or somewhere. I can see him easily getting a League Two deal, but maybe surprisingly there for Joel Senior. But then again, maybe not with the injuries and stuff. But I would have kept Joe Senior personally. Moving on to Twitter, then quite a lot of you replied. So again, I apologise for missing you out. The first person was Sam Johnston. He said he was quite surprised with Joe Senior. So did Carly. B2008. He said he was a bit disappointed about Senior. Showed real potential. Not wrong. We've got Jake here as well that says gutted about Senior and Toby Silva. Toby is a great lad on and off the pitch. Agree with you there, definitely. Moving on down, let's have a look at this. We've got Jamie here who says a bit surprised with the young Cumbrian in Josh Dixon being released. All the best for the future. And then we'll go a couple more here. Bear with me. We've got Arch H89 says Joe Senior is a real shame, but I love all the boys. Definitely, mate. And then we've got who we got to finish with there. We'll take a random one there. We've got Charlie there has said Charlie has said that he's shocked by Joe Senior, but would love to see Ben Barkley, J.K. Gordon and Alfie McCarmont back in a blue shirt for definite. So there's a few reactions off Twitter. Thank you for getting involved. You are all great, especially when you get involved. You always get involved on the polls and everything. So thank you so much for getting involved. So this video has been a little bit later than normal. It's just been a crazy few days, and as I say, I wasn't expecting that many replies on the Instagram, but that is my reaction to the retained and released list. Maybe a little bit longer video than it needed to be. I apologise if I've bored you with my voice there. That has been the released and retained list for the 2022-2023 season. Thank you so much for watching. I have been CU04 and I'll see you in the next one.
I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light.